Up next, we got one from room 9. Melyssa Ford tells Charlamagne the God that she is sick and tired of red pill men and toxic masculinity. Let's deep dive.
Is recently going viral.
Oh, God.
For her comments. And so we're going to ask a couple questions, not long questions, but we're going to get into a couple questions. Let me know what y'all thoughts are.
You have the women empowerment part of your algorithm. A lot of the other side is going to filter itself in. And that's the gender war-y, masculinity versus femininity, whole rhetoric and stuff like that. And it does start to, kind of have an effect on you. I guess it's not that I don't believe that there is a huge swath of the male population that is interested in growth and evolution and their mental health. I absolutely believe that. I think that the ones that aren't, I think that the manosphere, red pill nation podcast bros, I think that they are so much louder.
But that's the loud minority a lot of times.
And then when you see the comments, well, not only that, I mean, when you read cases like Giselle.
So this is leading up to a bigger conversation, but I'm going to just leave it there. And she basically went on to talk about men being misogynistic or they're not necessarily standing with women. And so I'm going to ask a general question and then I'm going to deep dive a little bit further into my next question. But in a general sense, are women justified at being upset at the loud voices that's coming from the podcast bros? Should I call on somebody or anybody want to just jump in? I'll call on somebody if y'all want me. I'm going to go with Kim. Kim and Nada Gemini. Kim and Nada Gemini likes to sit back, contemplate, ponder, listen, and observe. And so I'm going to call on Kim. Kimmy, are women justified in being upset at the louder voices of the podcast bros, and that she is basically assessing that they don't necessarily stand with women? They're creating an environment that's not conducive for women.
I think that you find what you seek. And if that's what's in your algorithm, that's because that's what you put there. So they're only loud because you're listening. So no, I don't think you should be upset with them. Find the people who pander to the women and go with that. You chose this. You chose to listen to that. So deal.
I'm afraid to go to Q. Let me go with Q. Q.
What are you afraid?
Well, we'll see how it plays out. Is Melyssa Ford justified at being upset at the loud voices that don't stand with women that's often coming from the podcast bros?
I think so, because I don't think the message is for all the bros, and all the bros be taking the message. Kind of like the whole, let's take Kevin Samuels. For the most part, he was talking about the head niggas in charge. And then you got all these broke niggas. Thought you can get what the head niggas fucking and get. And he like, I wasn't even talking to y'all. Y'all broke. Like, I think men probably like, they have a hard time differentiating if this message is for us, because it ain't for everybody.
Okay.
So I get it. And then when you got talking points from somebody else and you don't have your own thoughts and you just talking, then there's that too.
Let me play a little bit more before I go to the next person.
First of all, I know that they're trying to hijack the reason for what red pill content is, but red pill only means just telling the truth. The true nature of women, the true nature of what they're attracted to, the true nature of how the media is lying to you. That's all it is. It's just telling men the truth. Now, I see QB trying to play both sides with it, which is cool. He can do his thing. I'm not even tripping on that. But what Kevin Samuels was talking about is the men that the women were asking for. And so what he was doing was he was trying to explain to them that you're not qualified for the man that you're asking for. You have 4 babies by 4 baby daddies, and you're in debt for a college degree that you never finished, and you want a 6-figure man. If there's a guy that's willing to step in your life that's regular, you should be thanking God for him. That was Kevin Samuels' message. I'm gonna let him keep going though.
Have you had more positive experiences with men than negative?
She kind of cute.
That's an interesting question. I have had extraordinarily fulfilling and have fulfilling platonic relationships with men. Absolutely.
So,
I have had not the greatest personal romantic relationships with men.
so based off that, you know that all men aren't terrible human beings.
So let's stop there. Because a little bit more of the context where she was talking about the whole narrative where women say, if I'm in the woods and a man that I don't know approached me in a bear, I'm choosing a bear. And then Charlamagne asked her, has she had mostly positive relationships with men? I'm going to ask the question again, but I'm going to pose it to Carrie, then I'm going to go to Lex. Are women justified at being upset at the voices that's being, used to amplify men's thoughts or the podcast bros' thoughts? Are women justified in being upset at the current state of things?
It's understandable. I don't know if it's justified, only because I think the same is happening with women. I think there's a minority of women who are being the loudest that are like anti-men. So
That's true.
I feel like it's happening on both sides.
We don't have to both sides of it.
So
Let's
being
stick to the women.
upset, I don't know. I don't know if they're justified for being upset. It's frustrating, but yeah.
Why is it frustrating?
Because for those women who are not the loud minority, who are like anti-men, it can sometimes be, and I mean frustrating, like kind of disheartening, because sometimes hearing men in the way that I'm guessing she's describing, it feels like they just don't like us. And who wants to feel like men don't like women? That just feels wrong. So
it feels like men don't like y'all right now.
Yeah, sometimes when you listen to the conversation, it sounds like that.
You see, and that's what keeps the cycle going, because men love you. It's an insatiable God-given appetite that we can never divorce. That's a part of our nature. What we don't like is your behavior, your attitude towards especially black men. We can't live with that. You're gonna have to change it. And so if you keep trying to substantiate this narrative that because you're seeing the backlash of your behavior and the admonishment that comes behind it, it equates to we don't like you, it's only going to create a further divide, because it's not going to allow you to be accountable for your part in why men are reacting the way that they're reacting. And hit Q north to south.
Okay.
I heard there a lot, like on some of these other panels, not so much over here, but like when there's women and men, like women always say, do y'all even like us? That's what they say. And I get it.
And I get that if you're listening to people on the internet, but I don't think in real life anybody's walking around saying, well, I don't think men like women. I mean, they're showing you every day that they do. So again, it's a matter of seeking ye shall find. You sought this stuff out. Like you don't have to hear this. And for her to say that she hasn't had good relationships with men, I mean, we just not going to talk about the fact that she was in the industry and a video vixen.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I think that probably had a lot to do with the way that the men related to her.
Not only that, I think she left the man that loved her. She left him for the industry. So she already had her shot. And now she's on the back end of it complaining. But, don't quote me because I'm not good with that gossip shit. You know what I'm saying? This is just something I think I heard in passing just somewhere in my memory.
So you can't discount that and make it seem like you're just this regular, average, everyday girl off the street. I don't think that her experiences were the same as everybody else's.
So you think that her past should also play a role in how men see her?
I didn't say it should play a role, but I think we would be.
It does. There's no way around it. It's going to play a role. You can't not play a role. It's definitely going to play a role. It does. We don't care how you feel about it.
Remiss to think that it wouldn't. I mean, you earn a reputation regardless of whether or not it's true, just based on what you've done. And again, we know how men judge women, and you put yourself out there to be judged that way, and then you're surprised at the results and surprised that these men treated you that way. I don't see her saying, oh, I also experienced, these elaborate dates or these amazing gifts. She's only talking about one side.
Probably used to it.
Of what her experience was, and I don't think that's fair.
Lex, are women justified in being upset at the amplified voices of men as voicing their concerns with relationships today? The podcast bros.
Yeah, I like he created that question. That's a great
I don't think so. And I say that because I think it's self-defeating for women to have that mindset. I think that it shows an uncomfortable truth, these podcasts about women that they don't want to see. And it makes them have to question or rewire everything that they were taught of how to show up in men.
Yes.
So
talk about it, Lex.
Men are not being blinded by the modern dating culture of things being transactional and the way women are pretty much behaving. Not just that, I'm just throwing out random things, but I think that this was created and cultivated based on one man snapping out of what you call, quote unquote, matrix, the red pill, and looking like, man, something's wrong. And people are like, and men, they're like, yeah. But I also agree with what Clinton said. People like Kevin Samuels weren't even talking to all of y'all. But we can't ignore the fact that they don't have a right to get mad when they have podcasts all the time with women telling them how to get the coins and finesse men, and it throws everything off. Instead of somebody just having some type of self-mastery or showing up for themselves.
I'm not gonna lie, she right about Kevin Samuels snapping out of the Matrix and being red pill, because full disclosure, when I first heard Kevin Samuels talking, I was still under the sorcery of a feminine ideology where when he was saying, I felt like he was being disrespectful to that woman. You know what I'm saying? I started white knighting. I'm like, man, this nigga tripping. After I listened to him a little bit more, that's when I came to the realization, he's absolutely right, and he's saying what needs to be said in the way it needs to be said, straight up.
And work on self. Y'all want to get mad at other people for revealing y'all tactics. Stop it.
Exactly. That's what the red pill is. It's just
with
truth.
that,
shout out to Lex.
I'm gonna come in semi-last. Molly, do you think that Melyssa Ford and women are justified at being upset at the amplified voices of these guys out here in these streets?
I think because it's Melyssa Ford, I don't really take it as seriously coming from her, because I don't believe she has any children. Is she married?
I don't think, no, neither one.
So yeah, right. So women with those type of lifestyles, I don't really, what are you listening to it for? Are you trying, I don't understand if she's trying to take anything from it to maybe find a relationship or something like that? If you're not, why do you care? And if you only care because it's affecting your self-esteem, why is your self-esteem wrapped up in what some men are saying online on a podcast? So I
Because she can't find a man. She can't find a man that she deems is of quality to lock her down and help her to stop working.
guess I think I just have an issue with her talking about this because it's really not that serious. If you have an issue with what they're saying, don't listen to it. Just live in your echo chamber of women or pandering men who will sit there and say what women want to hear all day.
Like you.
Why is it hurting your feelings? I don't know. I guess I don't understand that. And if you're not the target, what you care for? That's- I don't know.
Slimmy,
I don't know why women care.
Slim Dog Millionaire. Is Melyssa Ford justified in being a little bit upset at the podcast bros?
I don't give a fuck about Melyssa Ford, but I will do this. Newsflash for those that didn't understand. Kevin Samuels talked to men first.
Thank
So
you.
he was talking to all men with his content at first.
Thank you.
Now, when he started referencing a high value man, that's a different conversation. But he was holding men accountable. As far as this bimbo goes,
Talk that
Melyssa
shit.
Ford she a sad case. She is really a sad case. She's a
I classify it as laughable because this is exactly what she asked for and she does not want it, and she has not come to the realization that she requested it.
feminist who doesn't want to own up to having one of the greatest runs at a whole phase in life, or what we can assume was a whole phase. She doesn't want to own up to that, and that's why she was treated by men a certain way.
Facts.
She probably got some good shit from it. I mean, she ended up being a successful hoe. That's another one who we can add to that list
rich,
with.
Man, she popping.
Kim Kardashian and Amber Rose. She's a successful hoe.
Popping.
Like, she manages to stay relevant just because she was a hoe. Like, let's be real. She should not be talking. She got fired from another podcast. Like, why are we interviewing Melyssa Ford? Why are we still talking to her? She's literally irrelevant. Joe Budden was out of his mind for making this woman relevant again. But he did it. Now she wants to fire back at men some way, somehow. She's still bitter. She's just a bitter woman. She's mad at men because she didn't get chose. She was nice looking and she doesn't understand why.
Right.
She's mad at herself because she doesn't understand why she's so beautiful, supposedly, and she doesn't have anybody except somebody who just want to smash. At the end of the day, dudes don't value her for her personality or her thoughts.
It's her body.
They don't.
In person, she probably
or she would be wed. She would be somebody's wife.
Facts.
Do you think that she's too choosy, or do you think that dudes are too smart to get caught up? I'm too swift up on my toes to get caught up with you hoes.
It's the dudes that she want is too smart. The dudes that she don't want ain't that damn smart. So it's a combination of too choosy and the dudes are smart. But they got some dumbass niggas that she don't want that'll do it. They'll clean that mess up any day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah. Ain't nobody about to get caught up with Melyssa Ford. Unless he just like from another world, another country. He don't know who she is. He blinded by, what he sees, the exterior. Maybe maybe in that way, maybe she might get wifed up. I don't see how.
It's a nigga she don't want.
But I think it's real crazy because the whole thing, let's eliminate Melyssa Ford being upset about this, and let's just go to the average woman being upset about people on podcasts, men on podcasts, voicing their opinion about women. I think it's sad that I know for a fact in the 90s that women started man bashing. This was a real thing in the 90s. It started in the 90s where women would get together and they would be talking shit about men. This is how they felt. I've never seen guys do that. I don't want to hang around guys that do that. Like, if all we gonna do is talk negative about women at a powwow or a brunch, I think that's kind of weird. But women do that. This is a thing for women. So now we fast forward years later, decades later, men are able to voice their opinion about women, and it's a problem. All on Sally Jesse Raphael, Ricky Lake.
Yep.
I don't know about Oprah, but all those talk shows that women had, and it was okay to talk crazy about men. This was a thing for talk shows. This was a thing, a real thing. And it was okay. It wasn't, you didn't see that kind of rhetoric on Geraldo. You didn't see that kind of rhetoric on men's talk shows. I can't think of the dude, Phil Donahue. You didn't see that kind of rhetoric on those shows. But now we fast forward, and when men have a voice, it's problematic. Now it's toxic masculinity.
They hate women.
And all these weird titles and labels. Mm-hmm. Was it toxic then when women was doing it? No, it was okay. It was publicized. And I think now maybe women should take heed and listen to what men are saying. And that way you can have better discernment on the type of guys you deal with.
Yes.
Because then you can discern who are the toxic men, who are the men that you should be with, and the ones you should stay far away from.
Facts.
Maybe that will help you on your journey.
That boy Slimmy had a mic drop moment just now. You heard me? He telling it like it T.I. is. You heard me? One, she's the wrong spokesperson to even articulate these thoughts. Women are fighting back against red pill content the best way that they know how, which is trying to slander it and demonize it as if it's something negative against women, when all it is just men giving women the blueprint on how to retain the man that they want, and then understanding the man that they can get. If you made it this far, check out the video we just did where women are tired because there aren't enough good men to help them get into their soft girl era. The job market is killing them, dog.